What do you do when you find out your new house is haunted? Do you stay? You can't because we found somewhere new to live. The house seemed heavy, oppressive, but they pushed through, trying to make it their home. It moved closer and closer to the bed where Janet slept. Finally, it slammed against the door, blocking them inside. Lights began flickering, chairs moved without being touched, and silverware rattled and flew off tables. The voice was captured on tape, clear, chilling, and impossible to explain. It quickly led to national media attention. Most of it centered around Janet, who was soon placed under observation by doctors and psychiatrists, none of whom could explain what was happening to her. One night, while staying in the house, Maurice Gross managed to capture the ghost on camera. He watched in disbelief as Janet levitated above her bed, floating several feet in the air. Other investigators witnessed it too, as did the police, and yet, despite all the evidence, no one could agree on what was happening. One officer witnessed a chair move across the floor entirely on its own, but those theories were soon put to rest when other members of the family also began levitating, including the 8-year-old sister, Margaret. Eventually, the famous paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren became involved. They had recently wrapped up the Amityville investigation and were looking for their next case. They spent several days in the home and concluded it was a clear case of demonic possession. And soon the home was a hive of activity, with paranormal investigators, skeptics, and researchers flooding the house, all desperate to witness the Enfield Poltergeist for themselves. Many reporters managed to catch Janet bending spoons or throwing pillows, leading them to accuse her of faking the haunting. Years later, Janet would admit that she and her sister faked a few things, but only to frustrate the press and the skeptics. She insisted that 98% of it was real: the fear, the voices, the violence, the constant shaking of the house. The haunting continued throughout the summer, with objects moving, shaking, and even breaking. But the real terror centered around Janet, the 11-year-old daughter, and terrifying cases in the UK's history, audio tapes, photos, and multiple eyewitness accounts, including police, still exist today. In 2016, the story became the basis for the movie The Conjuring 2, but in reality, the case remains unsolved. And in the end, the one question that still haunts those who heard that voice is, what was speaking through Janet? That was until the first week of July, when the silence was broken. She claimed to be Bill Wilkins, an old man who had died in the house years before. He taunted the family, rattling the bed while they slept and whispering, "I'll get you, I'll hurt you," just out of hearing range. When he spoke, it was always the same 3 phrases: "Beware, beware my daughter, and beware the old man." His voice echoed through the house and through the years, never changing, never fading. It started with faint knocking sounds at night. Peggy thought it was just the children's imagination, the sound of settling timbers, but then the knocking grew louder, closer, more violent, and soon the whole family was awakened one night to what sounded like screams in the middle of the night. Are you really going to abandon your home because of a ghost? Or do you go? Well, back in 1977, in the quiet suburb of Enfield, North London, that exact problem was about to befall the Hodgson family, a single mother named Peggy and her 4 children. From the moment they moved into their new council house, something didn't feel right. At first, it was just a feeling. One night, the wardrobe in Janet's room, which was empty except for some clothes, began to slide across the room by itself. She began speaking in a deep, guttural voice that wasn't her own. And it wasn't just what he said, it was how he said it. Among them was Maurice Gross from the Society for Psychical Research, who stayed with the family for months and recorded over 2,000 incidents of strange activity. Some believe Janet was faking the levitation, perhaps with the help of her mother, who wanted to capitalize on the media attention, but not everyone agreed. To this day, what happened in that house remains one of the most documented